An under-15 boys team beating the US national women's team years ago was a huge topic of debate, but we took away the wrong lessons for it. The debate isn't about how men play a superior game, so women don't deserve to play. Everyone should understand that the women's part of sport is a different game altogether. We wouldn't compare a French third-tier side to a Premier League team. Similarly, even if there is a difference in men's and women's football quality, they deserve to exist in their separate environments. Women's football has come a long way from being an afterthought and a constant target of ridicule to becoming a major force on a global level. However, the journey was anything but smooth. While men's football has flourished, women's football was often sidelined. In England, the FA imposed a ban on women's football in 1921, preventing them from playing on affiliated pitches. This ban lasted for 50 years and severely limited the sport's growth. Despite the setbacks, women's football continued in some form. The Dick Kerr ladies, one of the most famous women's teams of the early 20th century, regularly drew crowds exceeding 50,000 in the 1920s. However, the FA's restrictions meant that women's football lacked the infrastructure and financial support it needed to thrive. The FA finally lifted its ban on women's football in 1971, coinciding with a growing movement for gender equality. Around the same time, UEFA began recognizing women's football as an official sport, and FIFA followed suit. The first FIFA Women's World Cup was held in 1991, and although it did not receive the same level of media attention as the men's tournament, it was a crucial step towards legitimacy. The 1999 Women's World Cup in the US was a turning point. The final between the US and China was played in front of over 90,000 fans at the Rose Bowl, which was the largest crowd for a women's sporting event at the time. The iconic image of Brandi Chastain celebrating the winning penalty kick became a defining moment for the sport. As the 2000s progressed, domestic women's leagues began to establish themselves. The FA Women's Super League, called the WSL, was launched in 2011 as England's premier women's football competition. The league transitioned to a fully professional setup in 2018, attracting top talent from around the world. Meanwhile, the UEFA Women's Champions League became the pinnacle of European club football. Clubs like Lyon, Barcelona, and Chelsea have elevated the competition, setting new standards for women's football. Lyon's dominance in the 2010s, winning multiple Champions League titles, helped put the spotlight on club-level women's football. A major factor in the growth of women's football has been the increase in sponsorship deals and media coverage. In 2021, Barclays became the title sponsor of the WSL, investing millions into the league. This financial backing has allowed clubs to improve facilities, pay higher wages, and attract world-class talent. Media coverage has also skyrocketed. The BBC and Sky Sports signed a landmark broadcasting deal in 2021 to air WSL matches, making women's football more accessible than ever before. In the US, networks like ESPN and CBS have started giving more airtime to the National Women's Soccer League, known as the NWSL. This has helped further expand the sport's reach. The UEFA Women's Euro 2022, hosted by England, shattered attendance and viewership records. The final at Wembley saw over 87,000 fans, the highest attendance for any European Championship final, men's or women's. England's victory over Germany in extra time became a historical moment for the sport. The 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup built on this momentum. Co-hosted by Australia and New Zealand, the tournament saw record-breaking attendance and TV ratings. The final between Spain and England drew over 75,000 fans in Sydney, while global viewership exceeded all expectations. Spain's victory also marked the rise of a new football powerhouse in the women's game. Women's football has reached new heights in 2024. According to recent statistics, average attendance in the WSL has increased by 37% from the previous season. Arsenal women in particular have seen record crowds, averaging nearly 30,000 fans per game. TV viewership has also skyrocketed. Since 2012, the UK's viewership of women's sports has increased by a staggering 600%. 620%, demonstrating the growing interest in the game. The surge in viewership has attracted even more sponsorship deals, creating a sustainable model for women's football moving forward. Let's now dive deeper into the financial investments, the role of star players, the challenges the game still faces, and what the future holds for women's football. Women's football has grown immensely in the past decade, and a key driver behind this rise has been the emergence of globally recognized stars. Players like Megan Rapinoe, Alex Morgan, Lucy Bronze, Sam Kerr, and Aitana Bonmati have elevated the sport, both with their performances on the pitch and their influence off. One of the most impactful figures in recent years has been Megan Rapinoe, who not only won the Ballon d'Or in 2019, but also became the face of the US women's national team's fight for equal pay. Their high-profile battle against the US Soccer Federation lasted several years and culminated in a $24 million settlement in 2022. The agreement ensured that US women's players would receive equal pay and prize money compared to their male counterparts. This was a landmark victory that set a precedent for other nations to demand better treatment. Another defining figure is Sam Kerr, the Australian forward who has become one of the most recognizable strikers in women's football. Her dominance in the FA Women's Super League, where she helped Chelsea secure multiple league titles, showcases the rise of club football. Similarly, Alexia Putellas, a two-time Ballon d'Or winner, has been instrumental in Barcelona's dominance in club football. She led the team to multiple UEFA Women's Champions League triumphs, including the historic 2023 final, where Barcelona came from 2-0 down to beat Wolfsburg 3-2. This moment demonstrated the growing tactical sophistication and competitive edge in women's football. Meanwhile, a new generation of superstars like Salma Paraluelo, Linda Caicedo, and Lauren James is emerging. Their performances at club level and international levels suggest that the women's game will continue to evolve at an exciting pace in the years to come. One of the most significant shifts in recent years has been the surge in financial investments. The days when women's football operated on shoestring budgets are gradually fading, thanks to major sponsorships, broadcasting deals, and government funding initiatives. In 2024, sponsorship revenue in women's football surpassed 400 million euros for the first time, with companies like Nike, Adidas, Visa, and Barclays investing heavily in leagues, clubs, and tournaments. The FAWSL's deal with Barclays was a game changer, allowing clubs to improve their infrastructure, increase player wages, and attract international talent. Similarly, the UEFA Women's Champions League has seen significant growth. The introduction of a group stage format in 2021 improved competition levels, leading to record attendance figures. Clubs like Barcelona, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Lyon have set the standard, regularly drawing crowds of over 30,000 all the way up to 90,000 fans for key matches. Barcelona in particular has been a standout. Their Champions League semi-final against Wolfsburg in 2022 saw over 91,000 fans in the stadium, the highest ever attendance for a women's club match. This level of support highlights the growing commercial appeal of the women's game. Meanwhile, investment in leagues outside of Europe has also increased. The National Women's Soccer League in the US has expanded, securing long-term broadcasting rights with CBS and Amazon Prime, further solidifying its place as one of the best leagues in the world. Even Saudi Arabia, known for its aggressive push in men's football, has launched its own Saudi Women's Premier League, attracting international talent. As more leagues professionalize and improve player conditions, the overall quality of women's football is reaching unprecedented levels. Despite these advancements, several challenges remain. While top clubs and leagues are thriving, the gap between the elite and lower tier teams is still significant. Many smaller clubs lack funding, proper facilities, and adequate player wages, making it difficult for them to compete at the highest level. One of the most pressing issues is injury prevention and player welfare. Studies have shown that female footballers are up to 6 times more likely to suffer ACL injuries compared to their male counterparts. Various high-profile players players have missed major tournaments due to knee injuries. Clubs and governing bodies are now focusing on better research, training methods, and rehabilitation programs to reduce injury risks. Another challenge is the unequal treatment of prize money. While FIFA increased the total prize pool for the 2023 Women's World Cup to $110 million, it still pales in comparison to the $440 million awarded in the men's tournament in 2022. However, FIFA President Gianni Infantino has promised to bridge this gap further by 2027. Additionally, mainstream media coverage of women's football, though improving, still lags well behind men's football. Even when high-profile matches occur, they are often not given primetime slots or adequate marketing campaigns. Changing this requires continued efforts from broadcasters, sponsors, and football federations. Despite these challenges though, the future of women's football looks incredibly bright. The upcoming UEFA Women's Euro 2025 is expected to break more records, with countries investing heavily in their teams. The 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup could become the most watched tournament in women's football history. From a club football perspective, the introduction of multi-million-dollar sponsorship deals suggests that the sport is becoming more financially stable. More clubs are investing in youth academies, scouting networks, and medical research, ensuring that the next generation of female players is better equipped to compete at the highest level. Technology is also playing a crucial role. VAR, performance analytics, and advanced training techniques are helping reduce the gap between men's and women's football. As clubs continue to professionalize their women's teams, the overall quality of the game is only going to improve. In the long run, it wouldn't be surprising to see women's football reach a similar level of global prestige as the men's game. The question is no longer whether women's football will succeed, but rather how fast it will continue to grow. The sport's momentum is undeniable, and with the right support, investment, and media coverage, it could soon become one of the most lucrative and widely followed disciplines in the world. So have you watched any women's football matches? And if you have, what should be improved to increase viewership? Let us know below.